Hello, and welcome to Chapter 1, Understanding the Financial Planning Process. In this chapter, you're responsible to learn these following objectives. Identify the benefits of using personal financial planning techniques to manage your finances. Describe the personal financial planning process and define your goals. Explain the life cycle of financial plans, their roles in achieving your financial goals, how to deal with special planning concerns, and the use of professional financial planners, PFPs. Examine the economic environment's influence on personal financial planning. Evaluate the impact of age, education, and geographic location on personal income. Understand the importance of career choices and the relationship to personal financial planning. So, how will this affect me? The heart of financial planning is making sure your values line up with how you spend and save. An informed financial plan should reflect uncertainties and more. This chapter overviews the financial planning process. I probably won't be going through even half of these 30. You are responsible for all of it because all 30 are um, part of the chapter. Okay, so each one of these can be found within your chapter, and you're responsible for the entire chapter. Okay, so I'm just going over and highlighting certain things, going through it, because right now we're at almost 2 minutes, and I have to keep it under 15 minutes to get it on YouTube, and I'm sure you don't want me to even talk that long. So I just wanted to make sure everyone's understood that even if I don't make it through the whole 30, you're still responsible for the information. Okay, you're responsible for learning all these learning objectives, which covers the whole 30 slides. Financial facts and fantasies. Your income level depends on your age, education, and career choice. Over the long run, gaining only an extra percent or two on an investment makes little difference in the amount of generated. Personal financial planning involves translating personal financial goals into specific plans and arrangements. A goal that has no plan, that has no deadline, that has no steps that are acted upon is nothing more than a dream. Okay? If you actually want it to be a goal, then you have to put it into practice and create a plan and follow the plan. Savings account, we had that example in class. That pays less than inflation. So even after you get interest on the savings account, you're actually losing money because you're not even making what inflation is. Okay? And the whole point of this is to improve, improve your standard of living, and then keep the same standard of living once you retire. Systematic process considered important elements of individual financial affairs. This is to keep the emotions out of it so that you follow your system, okay, and don't panic. So here's a model. Here's your financial plan. Here are the actions, and here are the results. Okay, and then you repeat, and you learn from the results based on this. Then you make improvements. Basic asset decisions. Are you going to invest in real estate? Well, right now, real estate just set another record high. So if you're going to invest in it, you're buying at the top of the market. More than likely, it won't go up much before it crashes. Now it may not, but that's just been my experience over the last 30 years of watching the real estate market. That whenever it reaches a new height, a new record, that it contracts after that. It could go down 10, 20, 30% before it then starts climbing again. But I can't predict the future, so we don't know. Credit decisions. If you have too many credit cards, if I just learned this, that they changed how they do the credit scoring, that your credit score actually declines if your balances are more than 30% of your credit limit. So at the end of the month, if your credit limit's $1,000, if you have a balance that's over 300, that actually lowers your credit rating, your credit score. Your FICA, it's called FICA score. So if you want the highest credit score, you have to make sure that you use your credit cards, but you always keep the balance under 30%. Um, Insurance decisions. Are you going to invest in health insurance? Are you going to invest in disability insurance and life insurance? And what type of investments are you going to make in those? What type of insurances are you going to purchase? Investment decisions. Are you going to invest in the stock market? Are you going to invest in real estate? Are you going to invest in commodities? You're already investing in your education, so that's one thing that you're doing right now. And then, of course, your retirement estate commission. Rewards of financial planning allows you to acquire, use, and control your financial resources more efficiently, allows us to gain more enjoyment from our income and improve our standard of living. Those are the goals, okay? That if you achieve them, then you get these rewards. We have a propensity to consume. We're a consumption society. So every time you spend, if you've ever read the book about Warren Buffett, his biography, it's called Snowball, and I have it on my shelf. And I've read it when it first came out. The one thing I thought was really interesting about the one section or paragraph that stuck with me more than all the other ones was that he didn't want to buy a house because even though the house was $50,000, this is back in the 1950s, he saw that $50,000 as over $1 million because he could invest the $50,000, and over his lifetime, he could turn that into $1 million. So he didn't see it as a $50,000 house. He saw it as $1 million house because that's how much he saw it costing him because he wasn't able to use that $50,000 to then invest. So every time you spend money, think of it in that way that, this isn't a $500 computer. This is, a $5,000 computer, because if you invested that $500 over the next 10 or 15 years, you could then increase it to $5,000 as opposed to buying it for $500. Now, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't buy the computer, but then you look at it and say, okay, so will this computer help me to then earn $5,000 or gain $5,000 over the next 10 or 15 years? And if so, then it's a good purchase. If not, then it's wasteful. Now, it doesn't mean you don't buy it, and that's up to you, but you would make a conscious decision as to whether you should buy it or not um, based on that. So jewelry, clothing, anything that really has no resale value. Look at it and say, is this really worth it? Worth how much I'm going to lose on investments? If so, then make the decision. That's your decision, but at least it's an educated decision, not an impulse buy or a decision on passion. Okay? Accumulating wealth consists of financial assets and tangible assets. Uh, Financial assets are tangible and include cash accounts and securities such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Tangible assets are physical assets such as automobiles, houses, and furniture. Obviously, automobiles and furniture lose their value at a tremendous rate. Uh, Furniture is next to worthless as soon as you buy it. It has no value. The only value it would have is for your enjoyment, your comfort, or to work. If it's furniture that will make you more efficient, then you can be more effective, and then it's a great buy. But if it's furniture just because you want a new couch or whatever, that really is a poor purchase financially speaking. It might be a good purchase as far as your emotions or your physical comfort, but financially, furniture is usually a really poor purchase. Um, Median net worth considering all families is $97,300. Although I just saw this morning that here I have it written down so I don't get the numbers wrong. So the richest 1% in the United States own 50% of the stock market, and the richest 10% of Americans own 92% of the stock market. What's that mean? Well, it means the bottom 90%, from 0 to 89.99% of Americans, only own 8% of the stock market. So the stock market going up and up and up and breaking all these records, it doesn't really affect 89% of Americans in any meaningful way. Okay. Here's financially speaking, income and assets. What do we earn? All families earn 52,700. That's the median. That's the middle. That means half of the United States families, half of American families, earn less than 52,700, and half earn more than 52,700. Okay, so we have 330 million people in the United States, and we'll say in families, an average of is 3 to 4 people, and so you're saying that about a quarter of that, which is about 80 million, a little over 80 million people, families, a little over 80 million people. Is that right? 4 times, okay, so we're saying 80 million families. I'm sorry. So 80 million families, roughly, and then you cut that in half. So 40 million families earn less than the 52,700, and 40 million families earn more than 52,700. Okay, and again, I'm just rounding off the numbers, the 40 million. So that's a lot of people making a whole lot less than $40 million, than $52,700. Okay, median net worth. This includes people's houses. It's $92,300. Okay, home ownership. Value of primary residence $185,000, but then of course you have mortgages $111,000, and then pooled investment funds $114,000, stocks, bonds, bank, and retirement. Okay. And time for one more. Okay. So here, you just look at this. 6 steps financial planning process. Define your financial goals. Okay, what are they? You should define a 1-year goal, a 3-year goal, a 5-year goal, and then a long-term goal. Long-term would be up until retirement possibly, or if your kids are going to go to college, then until they go to college, you need the money for their college tuition. Okay, that could be your long-term goal. Okay, financial plans and strategies to achieve them. How are you going to achieve this? And it has to, the math has to work out. You can't say I need $1 million and I only save 10,000 a year. Well, unless you want to live for 100 years, that's not going to work, right? Implement a financial plan, develop and make changes in the budgets, statements to evaluate, and then redefine. Okay? And that pretty much covers the chapter 1 that we have time for. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you on chapter 2.